There only one day, and Carlos had written 2 letters home already. While other Marines in transit to Vietnam took advantage of liberty opportunities in Kin Village, just outside the gates at Camp Hansen, Carlos remained close to the barracks. He saw a movie at the base theater and bought a box of stationery at the PX. He had dumped $1's worth of quarters into a slot machine at the NCO club, but became bored with that and returned to the barracks. Since he would never think of being unfaithful to his wife, he saw no use in going into the Ville, paying higher prices for watered-down whiskey and wasting money on Okinawan Nisans who would probably give a guy the clap anyway. Carlos laughed at his buddies mimicking the girls they had entertained. "I love you, GI, no bullshit. You take me stateside? You buy me Honda? You take me big PX?" they would say. Ironically, many of these same Marines who spouted such sarcasm about the bar girl's intentions were completely broke when the plane lifted off from Kadena bound for Chu Lai. On the plane, one Marine commented, "So I pulled out my wallet and told the girl, 'Here, take all my money. Let's just get this over with fast so I can go back to the barracks.'" The Marines knew the absurdity of spending their money on these cold-hearted girls who the very next night would be with another Vietnam-bound GI taking all his money too. But what the hell? Their prospects for the future did not appear all that bright. Death loomed for any number of the men, just outside the gates at Chu Lai. The plane taxied past row after row of stalls constructed of sand-filled 55-gallon barrels, stacked 6 and 7 high. These provided cover for the fighter and attack planes quartered there. Suddenly, Carlos's gaze was caught by the red archway sign at the tarmac's edge that displayed "Welcome to Chu Lai, 1st Marine Division Headquarters," painted in yellow block letters. Carlos followed the line of Marines, sea bags on their shoulders, as they walked across the hot concrete apron and fell into formation. Humidity and temperature hovered at about the same number, 100, beneath the broiling April afternoon sun. Carlos felt his sweat soak through his green utility uniform, leaving the starch feeling sticky against his skin. "First I was a machine gunner," Carlos mumbled to himself as he laid his sea bag next to his right foot. "Then they send me to an air wing. I wonder what they have in store now." A gunnery sergeant read names off a long roll call list. As each man answered, "Here," he announced the unit's name to which he should report. "Corporal Hathcock, Carlos in," he said. "Here," Carlos responded. "1st Military Police Battalion." "That's about right," Carlos mumbled as he picked up his sea bag and joined a group of 3 other Marines also assigned MP duty. None of them had a clue about his new job. "Corporal Hathcock," Major George E. Bartlett, the military police commander, said as Carlos stood before his desk. "Good to see you again." Carlos recognized his new commanding officer from the firing lines at Quantico. He had competed against the senior Marine on several occasions. Marines called Bartlett hard. He shot a good group. As the officer glanced through Hathcock's service record book, Carlos felt an immediate sense of belonging. "I see you are due for sergeant," the major said. "Yes, sir," Carlos responded. "We'll have to take care of that on the next quota," Bartlett said. "You are well into the cutting score, and we need sergeants here." If reporting to a fellow marksman wasn't good enough, making sergeant right off the bat went beyond Carlos's expectations. He had thought that he would have to go through promotion boards, and those Marines who had more time in the unit would get the stripe. With such a positive welcome, Carlos thought that life could not get much better. Military police duty around the Chu Lai airfield and 1st Division headquarters compound became a monotonous chore for Sergeant Carlos Hathcock. As watch commander and desk sergeant, he toured all MP posts and ensured that his subordinates followed orders. Glorified guard duty. But instead of 4 weeks or 6 weeks of a detail, he had an entire year. Whenever he could, Carlos would duck out of desk sergeant duty to honcho security on the truck convoys that moved from the supply warehouses in Chu Lai to the various outposts and fire support bases that lay to the